Hey, pop stars, and welcome to this latest episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. Thank you for joining us. I'm Eddie,
And I'm Tammy.
and this week's episode is brought to you by two of our favorites, popcorn and wine.
I like
Oh,
that.
yeah, I don't think any further explanation is needed. This episode you should enjoy with your favorite glass of vino and pop you some popcorn and sit back and relax as we get to our favorite, one of our end of year favorites. It is time again for the Golden Goblets. Yay! Drum
Woo!
roll. I like the Golden Goblets. I do. Kind of makes me reflect on the year a little bit. What about you?
Yeah, it makes me go back and think about some of these awards and who should get them.
Mm, that is true. Sometimes it seems like there's some no-brainers, and then other times I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'll look at the list and I'm like, yeah. And then other times I'm like, yeah. But so without further ado, I guess I'll just go down the list. Um, of started. Now, I this is different from some of our favorites, although I'm sure some of our favorites will repeat on here. Um, but and this is also a little bit different from the shit that got us through, which is coming up. But and some of that might repeat as well. But I like just kind of singling out the good, the bad, the ugly,
The
the
ridiculous.
ridiculous, yes, of 2022. So let's get started. I think I like this one, and it kind of hit hard, especially after the news last week. So the first one was canceled but deserved another season. I'm just gonna go on record and say Warrior Nun, and I'm not the one. I'm not the only one that felt that way. I know I liked season two more than you did, but I honestly did not realize Warrior Nun had such a big following and was so popular. Like it was trending for 48 hours straight after news that Netflix canceled it.
So I did think that that would be in the running. When I saw that it was canceled, I didn't send you a text message on it, but I was just like, I wonder if Eddie has seen this yet. Because we had just reviewed it. Like we just reviewed it a couple weeks ago. And now it will not be back for another season. Fingers crossed. Can I get a third season of Young Royals?
I think it hasn't been picked up officially.
It has not officially been picked up yet, so I'm gonna have the feeling like you had for what's your assassin show?
The Wu Assassins.
Woo Assassin. I'm gonna have those same feelings until it gets picked up. I'm like, please, please, please. But yeah. So I would say the one that I chose for this award, canceled but deserved another season award. It's not the like best show ever. But I did enjoy the first season, and I kind of wanted to see the direction that they would take with the main character in the second season. There were some hits and miss for it, but overall, I did enjoy it. And it's on Netflix as well, and it's called The Bastard Son and the Devil Himself. And I binge watched this, and like I said, there were some hits and misses for it. But overall, I would have loved a second season just to kind of see what direction they would take, especially with the new like kind of partnership that was formed at the very end of the first season. So it leaves kind of a little bit of a cliffhanger, and I hate the fact that I'm never going to find out exactly what happened in the show. I believe it is a book series, but in the show I'll never be able to find out what direction they would have taken for it.
Yeah. I was gonna watch that, and then I saw that it was canceled, and I'm like, I don't want to watch it and it end on a it end
Cliffhanger.
on a cliffhanger, and then not be able to find out what happened. I hate when that happens, and that was also another show. Like it got canceled right before the Warrior Nun, And I was like, oh gosh, this show was apparently it had gained. I don't think it had been out very long, but it apparently had a cult following too, and the people were not at all happy about Netflixing it. Who knew Netflix could mean so much?
So
But
much.
it's a verb that has so many meanings. It's not even a verb, it's just like a noun, but it has so many meanings. But yeah, so it got Netflixed. But yeah, so okay. So it was good though? Like
Um,
was it supernatural like or sci-fi or
it was sci-fi. It was kind of oh, not the warrior nun, but it's kind of like where it's more fae, right? Where
okay.
like they have powers and like and you find out it's a witch drama. So you find out like he is a witch. His parents were a witch. So you have like the witch society, kind of like the Harry Potter world, and then you have like regular folk who they look down upon. And then what ends up happening is he is born, and from the very beginning you find out that his father is the most evil blood witch in the realm. And so his mom actually gives birth to him knowing who his father is and the type of man that he is and his reputation. And so he grows up, and it's crazy because he's also a mixed baby. And so he grows up with his sister, his older sister, who just hates him. Like, when I mean hates him. And because she blames him for their mom dying, not realizing that there's more that goes into it. And so he grows up where he's tested every single month to see if he's going to be a regular witch or if he's going to be a blood witch like his father. And because he's actually the most powerful of them all. And he doesn't realize it yet because he hasn't come into his powers. He doesn't until he is, I believe it's 16, is when he finally comes into his powers. And it's an interesting concept. And I've been watching that because, with the Fate, the Winx saga, which was also canceled, they have the whole blood witch concept and everything like that. So it's just interesting to see a show that is just focused on the witches and blood witches and what they mean to, everyday witches kind of thing. So it was interesting. I'm not going to say it's like the greatest. I'm not going to say it's going to be entertaining through the whole thing, but I enjoyed watching it.
Wait, Winx was canceled too? How did I miss that one?
Oh,
Damn.
yes. Yes. It was canceled before The Bastard Son.
Well, damn, I need to add Winx to that list too.
Yes.
Canceled but need another season. I did not know that. I would have
Yeah.
definitely put that on there.
And you know
Wow.
what? I just remembered it as I was talking about The Bastard Son. So I'm gonna be with you, and that can be our mutual like award. Can be to the Winx saga.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Well, damn, Netflix. um, but in their defense, I guess slightly, I will say just the last few shows that I've watched, they've had some good stuff come out here recently. So, you know, um, that's one thing. If you can't find anything to watch on Netflix, then that is truly a you problem. That is something you're boredom because they have a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff. So, um, I love this one. The next one. Moving on to um something that I think um and this is just going in random order. I didn't take the time to organize it and put it into categories like normal. So, I'm just going down a list. So we're gonna be talking about different stuff all over the place. I'm just preparing your mind for that, okay? Um, but I I love this next one. The motherfucker who got way too much attention. And I have three.
Go for it.
Uh that bastard known as Ye, the motherfucker formerly known as Kanye. Way too much attention. Way too damn much. I think on one episode I said he's the one he should get the award for the motherfucker who did the most yet the least at the same time. Like him. Way too much. Um Elon Musk. Way too much. Um, way, way too much. I think him buying Twitter and the way he simultaneously has run it into the ground in less than 6 weeks of ownership. And it's been a long 6 weeks, but yes, he's only officially owned the company for about 6 weeks or so. Um, I think the tarnish um, or the gleam has come off of that genius label. You're realizing more so he's not a genius. He's just someone who has been able to invest and capitalize off of other people's ideas. And he's done so very well. So he's a good investor. I will give him that. But I cannot give him the label of genius. I cannot. That has just kind of fallen by the wayside. You know, yeah, it's just like, dude, yeah. And of course, the person who's probably hogged up way too much of our bandwidth, our brain space, the air, who sucks, who probably I could imagine he could probably be in a stadium and just suck the oxygen out of the stadium. And I can't believe that 6 years later we're still talking about this dude, even 2 years after he's been out of office, going on 3 years now, is Donald motherfucking Trump. Uh, those are the people who I think we still give way too much attention to. What about you?
I have one person who gets this award, and that would be Kanye West. I refuse to call him Ye. Everything that you said is true, but I think everything that you said about Elon Musk and about Donald Trump also applies to Kanye West. I'm sick and tired of people claiming that he is a genius. That title no longer applies. He's an anti-Semite. Semite. He is anti-Black. If he wasn't a Black man, we would consider him to be one of the most racist people in the world. And it is sad to know that he also throws the Christian faith around as an excuse for what he's doing. Just because you claim to be a Christian does not mean that you are following the word of God. And he's just an embarrassment to the Black people and to our community and to our culture. And it's time to shut the door on him in 2023.
Yeah, and one thing I think we can add to that list for all three of the men are misogynists, beyond belief. And I think you're right. And I saw this thing, and when you said brought up Christian, it made me think, especially him. Like, I think he was nominated for a Grammy for Best Christian Album or something, and I'm
For
like,
one
ugh.
fucking song.
And I'm like, God. And so, but so everyone talks about, oh, we need to put the Christ back in Christmas, and someone said, how about we put the Christ back in Christian? And I'm like, thank you. Like, it gives people of faith such a bad name. Like, I will say I'm a Christian. I believe, but it makes it what we see out there, that whole Christian nationalism bullshit, racism spouted, just wrapped in all this other BS. It just gives it a bad name. And you want to know why people are turning away from the church, because the people you hold up as ambassadors for the faith. Um, yeah, so that could be a whole nother podcast one day. But I agree with you so much. I hope in 2023 we can turn the chapter on all three of them. One of them probably not so much because of all the lawsuits and stuff, and investigations that he's embroiled in, which but the other two, unless it's something just truly newsworthy, I hope that we can talk about them less next year. So all right. And I guess this one does kind of make sense. It kind of mushes in there, since Kanye used to be a musician. Um what do you have for who was your artist of the year? This one was kind of hard for me.
Wait, did I not put the other award down?
What award?
Oh, I had an award called Absolute Waste of Time.
Oh no, it's here. I see it. I see. I see
Oh,
it.
okay, okay. I just
Okay,
wanted
I
to make sure.
skipped.
Okay, because you said we were
Okay,
going in order. Okay, no, no, no,
we
you're
are.
fine.
We are. We are. I see it.
You said Artist of the Year.
Yeah.
All right. So for Artist of the Year, I'm gonna give it to somebody that I'm not necessarily a fan of, but I do have to say, came out late in the game in the year. But I have to say that I'm gonna give it to two. I'm gonna do it, Eddie. I'm gonna give two artists. So the first artist I'm not a fan of, but I do have to give her credit. For how she came out. She came out with her grown ass shit, and I really really loved it. And that's gonna be Taylor Swift. She came out late in the year, but she definitely came out with a bang. She made me take notice of her for the first time in years. I have ignored and not paid attention to Taylor Swift for years, and so with the Midnight album, definitely took notice. And then my second artist of the year is going to be Zico. And I was a huge fan of Zico when COVID first hit. And then he went into the military. He enlisted. And so that was 2 years of no Zico. And when Zico came out, his latest album, Grown Ass Kid, he came out with a bang. He showed everybody that he's still one of the best rappers in the business, one of the best hip hop artists in the business. And I just really, really enjoyed his album. It's on repeat even to this day. So Taylor Swift and Zico is going to be my artist of the year for 2022. What about you, Eddie?
I have so many, but I will try to keep it down. Because I have three. I love Taylor Swift. I thought she did phenomenal. Of course, Beyonce. Um, like I said, there's so many, but the two that kind of stood out to me, I'm taking it kind of different here. The 1975, they surprised me so much. Um, just I love their album, being funny in a foreign language, so much more than I thought I would. Um, especially uh, they're a group that you don't realize that they've been in the game for like 20 years. They started when they were teenagers, just and they're just now. I can't even say they're reaching their peak because just when you think you know them, like they never, no two albums ever sound exactly the same. Although Maddie Healy has a very distinctive voice, so you know when you're listening to a 1975 song. And like I said, their show, even if you've gone to a 1975 show this year, if they go on tour next year or the next time they tour with a different album, I'm telling you, you want to go to that show because it's going to be a completely different show than when you saw them last. And so I've gained, being a fan, I've gained so much more respect for them. So the 1975 is my number one. And another artist is someone who's been around and we've known him, but I think he's coming to his own this year. Like he has shown that he's not just a backup dancer, so to speak, or just here and there for um, a line or two, and that's J Hope. And I know we disagree about his album, but I have to say that I think the individual projects been so far have benefited him the most, especially with uh, the hell of a show he put on at Lollapalooza, and just his album itself and the things that he's done solo. He's performing at the New Year's Eve at Rockin' at Dick Hope at the Rockin' New Year's Eve, whatever. Um, so I just think that this has been a year for him to where he's kind of just where he's got to showcase um, himself as an individual talent and what he actually brings. And sometimes, I think we've talked about before when we first got to BTS, we said that he was probably one of the ones that got lost in the shuffle. And I think this year, especially his solo project, has given him a chance to really shine and show just how truly talented he is. And I know, like I said, you weren't a big fan of his album, but he still, I thought, had a phenomenal year as an individual artist. So those are my two, um, the artists of the year. Okay, so now absolute waste of time. I'm adding one to this too. What was an album or a song or a comeback you thought was a waste of time? So I'm adding that to the movie and the TV. So what about movies? What movie did you think was an absolute waste of time?
Okay, I hope I get the name right. I believe it's called The Takedown.
The
That's the one with
Takedown.
the guy from Lupin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolute waste of time.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
absolute waste of my time. Like, blah. Okay, blah. All right. So yeah, absolute waste of my time for movies. I'm sure there are more, but the one that really stuck out to me to pinpoint will be The Takedown. It's on Netflix. Do not watch it.
Okay. Um, for me, it was something different. Although now that you think of it, I was like, yeah. But this one was on Hulu, and it's called The Princess, I believe, with Joey King. Dude,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I know it. I watched it.
it made me forget about how bad the takedown was. Okay. And normally I like, you know how I feel about kick-ass women. I like movies like that kind of, and it's supposed to, I guess, give you a Princess Bride feel. I don't know, but oh, that movie was so bad. And you know how much I hate saying that because as a person who would love to make movies and who wants to make movies, and I appreciate anyone who can get their script read and produced, and all the people whose hard work goes into a movie. No one goes into it thinking that this is going to be this bad,
They
but
have to. Some of them
they
have to.
they have to, because I'm like, how the hell did that script even get financed? Like, it should have been stopped at when it crossed someone's production desk. Like
The
the fact
concept
that,
was good though. The
yeah,
execution was the bad part. The
and
concept was
that's
good.
and so I was just like, yeah, it was bad. Like, it was so bad. I think, okay, you know how I feel about Lifetime movies, right? I avoid
Mhm.
them like the plague because it's something that once I start watching it, I have to watch it so I'll never be tempted to say, "Oh, it gets better at some point." Um, so I stopped it. Like, it was so bad I didn't even watch it all the way through. And the movie's only what, like 90 minutes or so. It's not even a full 2 hours. But I stopped it. I did the same with the takedown, but I stopped it. And then I went back and I'm like, I'm not. And I was like, I have to. And it's just like, why? And all I kept saying is because of Lifetime. I don't ever want to be tempted to say, oh, I started it. Maybe it gets better. It doesn't. So yeah, that movie was a waste of my time.
Oh,
90
that's
minutes of
too
my life I
funny.
will never get back. So what about TV? What you got for TV?
So TV, there were quite a few for TV. One I just thought of that I just have to add in there. But two of them. So the first one we actually reviewed early on in season 3, and that was oh my fucking gosh, I just forgot his name. And just like that. I was a huge fan of Sex and the City. I really was. But I think Sex and the City was of its time. And you know how certain shows just don't transfer to later on. Like, it's just more nostalgic, but you can leave that back to when it was at its height. And I think Sex and the City is one of those shows that I feel that. Like, there were some good parts to it. I'm not going to say they weren't good parts, but just overall, I'm okay with one season. Like, it's cool. Like, y'all good. Like, y'all got it out. You satisfied your fans. Like, we good. Um, And then the second one was just so bad, yet so good. You ever had a show, Eddie, that you knew it was bad? Like you're watching and you're just like, this is a fucking waste of time. But at the same time, you can't stop.
Mm-hmm.
That was First Kill on Netflix. It was so bad. Like the CGI was horrible. The acting was horrible. And I just could not stop watching it. But I understood why Netflix canceled it. Like it was a show. It doesn't need a second season, although I would love to have seen what happened to her older brother. But it was just so bad. It was such a waste of time, and I couldn't stop myself from finishing it. So yeah, I finished both of them, but I'm okay if I never ever see either of those shows ever again in my life.
Wow. Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know that I had a TV show that was just because if it gets that bad for me, then I can, unlike a movie where I think, okay, I might want to watch it again, I can just cut off a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. Maybe as we go on, I'll be like, oh, here it is. It comes. But I thought, and I even went back through the list and I looked at stuff, that we reviewed, and I'm like, okay, there was nothing that the takedown. I think was the worst thing we reviewed all year.
I think so. It's like the Mulan of 2022.
Yeah,
that should have been another award. Oh my God, that should have been another award.
We'll add it right now. We can just go ahead and say the takedown is the Mulan of 2022. Look, don't get a takedown.
Don't get a takedown. It's just like what we said. Don't get Mulan.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what it was. Because like I said, I'll quit. Like I'll just stop watching the TV show and be like, yeah, nah, this ain't for me. But so I can't think, and like I said, I've been thinking about it for a while and I haven't been able to just come up with it. So, but yeah. Um, I don't know, but I can see where you're coming from with in this, like, and just like that. If I remember correctly, I liked it better than you did.
Yes.
Um, I think I was a little bit more nostalgic, but also in going back, um, it did seem like they checked off a lot of those boxes, a lot of the criticism boxes that they had. Although I did like the way they integrated the new characters into the show. Um, but yeah, it is getting a second season. So, but I'm with you. I don't know that it's something that I would necessarily want to review. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Um, okay, so is there a song or an album that, or a comeback or something that was just like a waste of your time, something that disappointed you so much that you're like, yeah, you could have kept this?
You know what it is, Eddie.
J Hope, Jack in the Box.
No. Okay. I just said that for a joke, y'all. I just said that for a joke. Don't come for me.
She really does love J Hope.
I really do.
Did not like Jack in the Box.
I was one of the people, like I said, he was one of my favorites from the jump, from when I first got into BTS, and he's still one of my favorites. I'm just not a fan of his second album, his second solo album, but I still love him. Like I just love him and his artistry and his dedication. I'm just not a fan of his latest, trek into the music. But album, oh my gosh. So, I was kind of like on my K-pop shtick. And there are quite a few that were just trash to me. And I have never, and I've tried so hard. I have tried so hard, and it just does not happen for me. And that is Stray Kids.
Oh my.
I'm putting it out there. I don't care. Come for me. Come for me. Come for me. Because I have tried so hard to like their sound because they are so popular. It's like they're the third coming because BTS was the second coming. And I was like, they're like the third coming. And I was just like, no, they're not. Oh, I think I got it. But remind me if it came out this year or not. Hyphen. Did Hyphen's new album came out this year? Mm-hmm. Hyphen. Stray Kids and Hyphen. Complete waste of my fucking time on listening to either one. Stray Kids, I'll take it before I take Hyphen, and I am a huge fan of Hyphen. Not as much since I'm learning about their personalities. Not really a fan of them personally, but I think that their albums are now starting to sound exactly the same. And the more popular they become, the less they're trying new things and trying new sounds. And they're literally just regurgitating, I believe that's the word, regurgitating what they've come out with since they first debuted. And so there's nothing new. There's no new sound or style. They're just going more auto-tuned than previously. So I will say listening to their latest album, I believe is Manifesto, was a waste of my time. I just did not like it at all. And I really, really tried. I was just so disappointed in that album. So disappointed in that album. But yeah. So I would say if I could think off the top of my head, because I didn't know we were going to be doing music, off the top of my head, I'd probably say Hyphen and then Stray Kids, because I just can't get into their sound. So those would be my two. What about you? Because I know you're more the music person than I
am. A lot of the stuff that we reviewed for K-pop comebacks, that was like Icon, I was disappointed in a lot of it. Like I was not, this year, I just wasn't overly impressed with a lot of the comebacks. And then some of the new artists, like I'm finding, like I said on a previous episode, I'm finding that I think Hybe finally got it right with the girl group New Jeans. If they can just, let's say their film is good too, but if they can just keep on the right track with New Jeans, I think they've got a hit on their hands. I love New Jeans. But I agree with you. I do like Stray Kids. I've been a Stray Kids fan, and I like them more and more. And I think they are poisoning them to. There's no one that's going to fill the void the next 2 years while BTS is in the military. There's never going to be another BTS, but they're poisoning them to kind of come and take some of that pressure off. So you're probably going to see a lot more of Stray Kids over the next couple of years if their company can get it right with them, if they know how to do it right. They're with JYP, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're in more control than any other artist under JYP of their music. That's what makes Stray Kids different than others.
Yes. So, and I don't have enough faith in JYP to do what they need to do to kind of fill that void. Like I said, it's not going to be completely filled, but there is a market if you know what to do. Which, given their history, I don't think they do. But I am a bigger fan of Stray Kids. I actually like Stray Kids. Now, I will agree with you within Hyphen, probably one of the biggest disappointments. I love their earlier music. Their first 3 albums, I think 2 albums were phenomenal. And then I'm with you. The more popular they become, the more generic they become. And every now and then they'll have a song that is kind of like in their wheelhouse. They'll have a song where it seems like to me they're still that group that they're trying to, even though you have a formula, if you go back to the beginning of what works with them, what kind of group they should be. Not saying that they shouldn't try new things and experiment, but I'm sick of this throwing spaghetti up against the wall to see what sticks with them, because they're good. They have the talent. They're good dancers. Their voices are getting better. They're they put on the act of being personable. So but yeah, it's just, and Hyphen is a hot mess all the way around. So I'm very disappointed. I keep hoping that they'll get back to the roots of what made them them, but they're not. And it seems like they get further and further away from that. And so I'm just like, okay. Now, what about album of the year? I'm interested to see what you choose as your album of the year.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. My album of the year is very easy. It's very, very easy.
I think we have the same one.
Huh?
I think we have the same one.
Well, I have 2.
Okay.
So, just because I know I'm more in the K-pop realm than you are, I do have 2 because I didn't want to leave out one of the artists just because I also think that they were just phenomenal. So my first one is going to be obvious choice because I have just been singing her praise since she came out with it. I have only had positive things to say about it. Which if you've known me for years, is not necessarily the case. And I will continue to say that. So that means that I'm speaking some real truth here, y'all, on just how amazing this album was. And it's going to be Taylor Swift, Midnight. I'm just going to say it. It was an amazing album. I've said it before when we talked about our favorites of 2022. Hey, check out the episode. And so I'm just going to put that out there again, that Midnight by Taylor Swift was album of the year for me. It really made me sit down and like listen to a whole album because I can't remember the last time I really listened to a whole album and there were no skips. Even songs that necessarily I wasn't fully feeling, I did not skip because I could still listen to it. And then the second album of the year for me is going to be Grown As Kid by Zico. Because I've said it before when I talked about Artist of the Year, Zico did an amazing job of having his comeback after he got out of the military. He came out really, really strong. He's so talented, very, very talented. I wish that he could really jump into the Western market and really push himself out there because he has the talent to really become a big name in the Western market the way that he is in the Korean market. What about you?
I love that. And I love Zico. And I love him more. I love his show, Give Me a Minute on Netflix. I mean, not Netflix, on YouTube. The thing that I hate though is that a lot of them are not dubbed. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, can you please get the subtitles? And I think that would help with his popularity because he does it's a cute show. And they're each about 5 minutes and he talks to different artists and all that. And so I'm like, okay. And of course, I love Zico because he's part of one of my favorite trios that doesn't get a lot of attention. Which I need some Fancy Child because if I get Fancy Child, that means I'm getting Dean. That means I'm getting more of Crush. And I love them all together. Like, oh, anyway. So I agree with you. That is a runner up on my list. I'm going back old school, like way back, and I think this one comes from my Spotify rap. So I'm going with one of the ones that I listened to the most throughout this year, and it never changed as more stuff came out. I think just because in the beginning it was one of the few things that came out in the beginning of the year, and that's Got Seven by Got Seven. Like that album tops my Spotify list because I listened to it so much all the way, like in the spring. It came out in spring all the way through the summer. Even now I still go back and listen to that album. It was amazing. So that was one of them. I agree with you. Midnight's also make the list. And on top of that, I added, there are a lot. Like I said, go back and listen to, like she said, go back and listen to the episode on the favorites of 2022, the music and news one. And I named some of my favorites. Check out the website and you can see a more complete list. I'm not going to say a full list, but a more complete list. Harry's House, Harry Styles, he gets better and better with me. His first album, his debut album, when he first left One Direction, I was like, there are a couple of songs on it, but he never to me hit because he has one of the most versatile voices in One Direction. Like I love him and Zayn. I think they have probably the most natural voices.
Because they can actually sing.
Yeah, and I think my problem with Zayn is I think he needs to find his lane. His wheelhouse is more the R&B pop, and so I think that's where he needs to stay. But I'm not a music manager or whatever. But yeah. So Harry's House was one, and I know it came out and people were probably like, oh, Harry Styles, they used to hear Harry Styles, him acting in several projects, and people just thinking that, they're pushing him because it's Harry Styles, former boy bander. So the people who are automatically turned off just because they hear the name Harry Styles, I'm like, no, give him a chance. Like, really. His last album, the one with Watermelon Sugar, phenomenal. Harry's House, I didn't think he'd be able to top that. I thought, oh, this is going to be the album, then everything else is just going to be kind of like mid or No, Harry's House is amazing. So those would probably be those that are in contention for album of the year for me. But that Got Seven one stayed in the rotation.
I love
Uh,
hearing that. I
yeah,
like
I
they
go
because
ahead.
you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Eddie. I apologize.
No, go ahead. Okay.
No, I was gonna say that when I looked at my Spotify wrap up,
Mm-hmm.
GOT7, their album and the artist was my number one for both, right? So I think in the last 3 years, BTS has been number one for the last two, and GOT7 dethroned them this year. And so they were the artists that I listened to the most over the years. Like I listened to their music all the way back when. And then also the GOT7 album was my number one album that I listened to. But I also think that I've been listening to it since May, and Grown Ass Kid just came out in I think June, and then Midnight just came out. So when I think about it, GOT7 was my number three. But I have to agree with you. Awesome album.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so what was the song you have forever on repeat this year?
Okay. So, I'm going to stick to my theme. I'm going to stick to my theme. All right. So, on the GOT7 train, I'm going to say that one of the songs that is on forever repeat, like we're going into 2023 with this song being on repeat because it just gives me the feels. Don't Leave Me Alone by GOT7. I just loved that song. I wish they had done a video for it, but I understand they did not have the time to do it. But it's just so nostalgic of what they represent as a group and as individual artists. I just really, really loved it. My second one is going to be Freak by Zico off his Grown Ass Kid album, which I really, really love. It's upbeat, it gets you moving, like it just puts me in a happy place every time that it's on. And then the last one is going to be Good Night by Coogee. And the same thing with Freak. Like it's just a feel good song that really gets me in the mood. I can listen to it over and over again, and I haven't been able to get sick and tired of it yet. So the three songs that I just can't get enough of them would be those three songs. Just absolutely love them. What about you?
Um, yeah, Don't Leave Me Alone, definitely. I think that was the most played song on my Spotify wrap up because it was just on repeat, like over and over, just like that album. But if there's a song, and the album was no skips, but there's a song that you had to go back to, then that was that song that if I didn't have time to listen to the whole album or something, that was the song that I would just put on, and then listen to it over and over and over. Also, I have what else? I have hold on. There's a new song. Um, One of my albums that didn't make it that I want to talk about because I'm just kind of going back because one of my songs is by this person. Is Boy Code. K R&B artist, K hip hop artist. His album Daft Love was amazing. It was also one of the ones that was on repeat. But the song that just kind of gets me on that album, like the whole thing is really great, but Love Makes Me Daft is a good introduction to it. So that one just kind of stayed on repeat for me. Even though it's kind of like it's a shorter intro song. And then one of the ones besides anything from Midnight, like that whole album, is amazing. Late Night Talking from Harry Styles, um, amazing. Some of the ones that we've already talked about on it on the other uh, episode, but also lately here. And it's a newer album, and it could make any list. And I'm thinking because it came out so late, you'll probably hear me talking about it more in 2022 and 2023. It will be one of those. It came out at the very end of the year, so But RM's album is incredible, and the song that I've gone back to over and over that I'll just find myself like if I'm like, oh, I just want to put on something really quick, is a song Closer with him, Paul Blanco, and Mahalia. Is an amazing song, and I love it. So yeah, but yeah, I could just sit here and talk music forever. But all right, so Now, what about you? This one is probably going to affect you more than me. But who was your favorite new actor that you discovered? What beautiful gem of K dramas did you discover this year?
Why do you think I got somebody from K drama up in this?
Because I know you. I know you.
So I have two. Okay, I have two. So since you brought up the K drama, I'll start off with my actor from one of my favorite dramas of the year. K drama, regular drama, one of my favorite dramas of the year. And the actor's name is Park Jae-hoon, and he was just absolutely phenomenal. I took notice of him last year with another drama that he was in that I really really enjoyed in 2021. I believe it made my top 10. And now this year he came out with another amazing drama. He was just absolutely phenomenal. You can see his range, how much he's grown as an actor. He started out as an idol, and now he's going more into acting. He's only 23 years old, and he's already showing so much talent. His drama was Weak Hero Class 1, and it just really, really pulled at my heartstrings on just how much range he had with his character and how much growth his character had within the 6 episodes of that show. And so that's going to be my K actor that I discovered or I'm paying attention more to this year. And then I have another actor, and it's the same thing as Park Jae-hoon. I've noticed him before. I've seen him in multiple things, but I think this year he really showed his acting chops. He did an absolute phenomenal job of playing Elvis Presley, and that's going to be Austin Butler. Like, I swear, if I did not know who Elvis Presley was, I would have thought he was Elvis Presley. Like, that is how amazing of a job he did in the role. I would say he's up there with another person who has done a phenomenal job of just completely embodying the person that she played would be Angela Bassett when she played Tina Turner on What's Love Got to Do with It. And Austin Butler he was just so believable. He was so amazing in Elvis. So I definitely have to give him his props as well. So those would be my two. What about you?
One is from TV and one is from movies. So I will go ahead and co-sign on everything you just said about Austin Butler. He made my list too, and I gushed about his performance. Even though we were both kind of mid or lukewarm on the movie itself, his performance is what made that movie. Um, and he was so believable, and I'm glad he's starting to get his flowers. And he has, been around mostly indie and doing different TV shows and stuff like that, but I'm glad people are starting to recognize what a talent he truly is, not just that pretty boy actor. um so I hope Elvis is really truly his breakout role. And he was nominated for a Golden Globe for Elvis, and like I
He
said,
was.
and like I said, I told you, and I said it then. I said, I was like, in way too early to call needs to be nominated for an Oscar or needs to be an award season darling. I put him up for that because that's just how phenomenal he was in that role. Um, and he kind of, and like you said, Angela Bassett, Tina Turner, but someone else who also won. And I have to give this props because he beat my baby daddy when my baby daddy was just up for all the awards. But when it kind of reminds me of when Jamie Foxx played
Play
Ray
Ray.
Charles,
Yes.
and how he embodied that role too. And so I could see Austin Butler being a dark horse for this year's award season darling for his role in Elvis. But yes, and then another one. I believe this was his first acting role, if I'm not mistaken. But Jabari Banks, I think that's his name. Yes, who played Will Smith in Bel Air. Um,
Yes.
he has some big shoes to fill, and like we said, just taking that from what we knew as the Fresh Prince of Bel Air being this seminal, cultural, iconic drama. I mean, uh, cultural, iconic comedy that you can just quote. Like there are episodes and moments that you can quote. everyone has a favorite episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know, to turning it into what he did and taking that role and making it his own, where you were not comparing Will Smith or where you were not missing Will Smith, where you knew the characters, but they did such a great job at that show that I wasn't comparing it to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the comedy. I was enjoying it for Bel-Air, even though I knew the characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although Carlton, we all got our moments about Carlton. But so I have to give Jabari his props for that. I think he did a phenomenal job. Okay, so moving on. What about you? Best movie of the year. What was one of your best movie picks?
Okay, I'm just gonna say the name because I think when we talked about favorites, I just sung the praises of this movie as well as the main actress of the movie. Um, and it's gonna be The Woman King. The Woman King was my favorite movie. Was the best movie. The acting was just absolutely phenomenal for every single role, even the ones where I was just like, "What the fuck are you supposed to be doing in this movie?" They still played their role to the T. So The Woman King, I suggest everybody goes and watch it. It was the best movie that I saw of 2022. What about you, Eddie?
I agree. Woman King and Top Gun Maverick. Again, I can't speak the praises of Woman King enough, along with you. Top Gun Maverick, for it to be a sequel 40 years in the making, was amazing. It was good. Like I said, Tom Cruise is going to be uh, 90 years old doing stunts in his own movies. Did you see the commercial that he did? I know you don't watch football, so but the commercial that he did to thank people for watching Top Gun Maverick and making it the highest grossing movie of the year, so far. Um, during the football game last week, they've got him live during the middle of the football game. They were filming a scene for, I believe, Mission Impossible 8 or something. And at first you're thinking it's Tom Cruise on a green screen, right? You're thinking it's going to be one of those green screen commercials.
Mm-hmm.
This fool is free falling, doing a stunt. He's like, okay, and they're waiting for and you could tell he's talking because it is live, and they're waiting for the perfect moment for him to just free fall from this plane. And he's like, well, I just wanted to thank you all for watching Top Gun Maverick, for making it the number one movie, for still going to the movies. Because, he has been a proponent. He was one of those big proponents about getting people back into the theaters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, when's the green screen going to come, right? When's the green screen? No. And so you see the director of the movie, they pan over to the director of the movie, and he's like, hey, we're here filming for Mission Impossible. And you're like, yeah, this is a joke. Dude, then he just fucking free falls out of a fucking plane. I'm like, holy shit, only Tom Cruise would do some shit like that. So, but yeah, Top Gun Maverick and Woman King were my two tops. Okay, so what was your favorite streaming movie of the year? Best streaming movie?
Best streaming movie of the year. Also made my favorites list. And I've watched it over and over again. It's on repeat. It's one of the movies on repeat for the year, and that is The Gray Man. Currently on Netflix. Just enjoyed it. The dynamics of Ryan Gosling, of Chris Evans, of oh my God, what's the dude with the three names? Who's married to Angelina
Rich,
Jolie? I
who
forgot.
who who is married to Angelina
No, he
Jolie?
was married to Angelina Jolie. I forgot his name. Anyway,
Johnny
uh,
Lee Miller?
huh?
Oh, Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob Thornton. There we go. Three names. Three names. Billy Bob Thornton. I should have said hick name, but Billy Bob Thornton. Just phenomenal. The Great Man. Believe me, you will not be disappointed. Just like I say, go and watch The Woman King. You will love it. Even if it's not necessarily your genre. The same thing for The Gray Man. It's action packed. And then yeah, it's just absolutely phenomenal. What about you?
I have two, and one is really recent. The Gray Man is great. Again, it's one of those things where you watch so much. I have to get better about writing down everything that I watch. But yes, The Gray Man, and then also Glass Onion, Knives Out, Glass Onion was so good. And it's one of those things where you think, oh, it's Netflix's award season, like they're just putting it up, it's getting all that hype. No, if you love the first one, and it's so different from the first one. Like And that's the thing I think you will appreciate. Like the first one, Knives Out, the first one kind of snuck up on everybody. Like no one thought it was going to be that good. It was like what you could call a sleeper hit for real. And this one, it's like, wow, it really is good. It was different. The mystery was different. Daniel Craig, he even though he plays the same character, he's different in the way he approaches the mystery. Like it was just really, really good, and it's on Netflix, and I highly recommend you watch it. Janelle Monáe was amazing. Um, it's a really good cast. Edward Norton. So yes, The Gray Man and Glass Onion, both of them streaming on Netflix.
I loved
Phenomenal.
all the cameos too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, so, okay, are y'all gonna do this or not? Like, well, it's fine with me. It's your money.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And you find out she's really waiting for somebody to come into the gym to work
yeah.
out with her.
It's like, what? Okay, she just get because I'm like, oh look, they have some in the background. Then she starts moving, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, and then she just starts talking. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right. So what was your best streaming show, TV show, streaming TV show?
So I believe the first one would be considered streaming. Peacock is streaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I have two, of course. I'm going my same concept. Come on, I'm keeping with the theme, y'all. I'm gonna be keeping with the theme throughout this. All right. So I have two best streaming TV shows. One, it aired on Peacock. Definitely surprised me because I didn't know what I was gonna get. I was kind of a little iffy about actually watching it. It took me a couple weeks before I actually sat down. And then after that, like I started to watch it in real time. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for the next episode to come out. Or for all the episodes to come out before I sat down and watched it all together. And that's going to be Bel Air. Bel Air snuck up on me on just how good it was. I agree with you when you said Jabari Banks was absolutely phenomenal in a role that is so famous and so well known, and he has absolutely made it his own. Yeah, so Bel Air on Peacock, it was so good. I had people be like, "Oh, can we watch this? Can we watch this?" And I was just like, sure, but I'm not saying anything. But it was really, really good. And then, of course, keeping with the theme of also having a K-drama that just really, really resonated with me this year. It's not a streaming TV show, but I do watch it on a streaming service. So I'm hoping that counts. But it's going to be Reborn Rich. I have been singing the praises of Reborn Rich. It's with the same actor that played in Vincenzo, which I believe was my number one show of 2021. And Song Joong Ki is in the show Reborn Rich, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Keeps you on the edge of your seat for the season, for the episodes. And yeah, like it was just so good. I've been telling everybody, please go watch Reborn Rich if you can, just because it's really, really good. You'll really enjoy it. If you love Vincenzo, you will love Reborn Rich. It is so good, just so phenomenally good. And the acting is just on point. Like some of the best acting that I have seen since I got into my K-drama shtick. What about you, Eddie?
Well, Bel Air, we agree on that. I don't need to say much more than what you've already said and what I've said about it. But yeah, it I waited. I didn't watch it live, because that drives me crazy. But I did wait till all the episodes were out. We reviewed it. Check out our review of it. And but yeah, Bel Air, it was phenomenal. Everything you heard about it is true. And then my other one is Miss Marvel. I just loved it. It was so much better than I thought it would be. And for me, I'm not saying this is good as WandaVision, but it ranks up there with how much I liked WandaVision. So I'm not comparing the two per se to say if you liked WandaVision, you'll like Miss Marvel. That's not what I'm saying at all. But just for what they did with the show, what was accomplished with the show, the fact that it had mostly a black and brown or mostly a brown crew, and it told the story of a superhero who did not was not your traditional white hair blonde white girl blonde hair blue eyes, that she was Pakistani. And I love that it gave us a Middle Eastern character and a Middle Eastern superhero who is not a terrorist. I love that. And just diversity matters. And, I'm always on diversity matters. I think we all, black and brown, need more of our own to see more of our own on TV. And I actually did enjoy the show much more than I thought I would. And it also made me excited for something that I wasn't really excited for, but I'm excited. I'm even more excited to see Miss Marvel or the Marvels, whatever they're calling it, the movie now than I was before. So Miss Marvel it really snuck up on me. So that was one of my favorite streaming TV shows. Okay, so your best. Did you even watch regular TV this year?
Ha! I did. But I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest and say I did not choose one from regular TV.
Okay, I did. I can go ahead and say I chose one. I still have some of my regular shows that I watch, and two of my favorites that I found myself enjoying. Like really, one show that I do not want to see get canceled is Big Sky. It is getting so much better. It is coming into its own. Um, they've been tinkering with it, and I think they finally found something that works. So I highly recommend Big Sky. It's really good. But the two shows that I just can't find myself waiting for each week, Station 19 is getting better and better to me. I love that show. But this one, I don't think will surprise anyone. All American, like, yeah, that's my shit. Like, All American is it for me. So it was probably my best regular TV show of the year so far. Okay, what has been one of your guilty pleasures in 2022?
I didn't do my favorite TV show.
Oh, you said you didn't have one. My bad.
No, no, no. You said if I watch did I watch regular TV? And I said yes, but it didn't make my list.
Oh,
That's what I meant.
Best TV show. I just went with that. Oh, I just thought you meant network TV. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, no, 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 no. But I've changed my mind, so I have two.
Okay.
Because as you were talking, when you were talking about Big Sky, I was just like, oh shoot! Like there was a show that like I absolutely loved this year. I actually mostly watched it in real time. I'd have to go back and like watch it on a streaming service, but overall I watched it in real time, and that was All American. I think that's one of the shows that I have truly kept up with, or I try to catch up with throughout the season rather than waiting for the summer when it comes on Netflix and then binge watching it. So I really, really enjoyed All American for last season. And it gets better and better every single season. So if you have not gotten up on All American, I suggest that you sit down and binge watch the first 4 seasons, please, because it's absolutely phenomenal. And I'm hoping that it finds a new home next year when the CW completely changes its format. And then the next one is a show that I've been really boasting about or encouraging people to watch for a while, and that's Weak Hero Class 1. And it was just absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, it's short episodes. It's not that long of a season. There is a season 2 that's coming out, and it just pulls at your heartstrings. It's such good acting. The duo, the main two actors of the show, just have so much amazing chemistry as well. It's about the concept of bullies thinking that just because a person looks weak and they're a nerd, that they can just pick on them, and then getting the surprise of their lives when they realize that even ones that look weak and look like nerds can kick your ass. And just how it goes into abuse at home can turn somebody into a bully. It talks about that, like how people turn into bullies and how they developed those aggressions and portray them to the public, because privately what they're going through at home or what they're going through in their private lives, how that ultimately affects them. So it was a really, really good show. I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, it was a very short season. I believe it was 8 episodes. Don't get me wrong. It was 8 episodes, really good, 45 minutes long. And yeah, I binge watched it in one night. Like it was just absolutely phenomenal.
Okay. So what about you? What was one of your favorite guilty pleasures of this year?
Eddie, we all know who my guilty pleasure is. It has been the same for the last 3 years. And
Colin
that,
Farrell?
huh?
Colin Farrell?
Colin Farrell is not a guilty pleasure. I have nothing to feel guilty about that man. um,
BTS?
no, my guilty pleasure, it's been the same for the last 3 years. And I will continue to say that my guilty pleasure is K-dramas and K-pop. I just it's how I escape from the bullshit of the world, of what's going on around us when you need to just shut your brain off and just enjoy entertainment and good entertainment. Then I turn to K-dramas and K-pop, and then I've also turned to like other Asian dramas. So it's not only K-dramas, I'm just kind of putting them all in the same under the same title. But it's not only K-dramas, but it's dramas from China, from Taiwan, Thailand, like just Asian dramas in general, as well as their music. Has been really, really good. Like I even discovered one artist that I really enjoy his music, just from kind of my guilty pleasure. So yeah, so it's gonna stay the same because it's doing its job, and as long as it continues to do its job, I'm gonna continue to watch.
Okay. My guilty pleasure. I started reading romance novels for some reason. Um, and the spicier the better. I will leave it at that.
Oh,
That's probably been my guilty pleasure of the year.
have
So,
you read Colleen Hoover?
uh-uh.
Oh, okay.
But I will add her to my list.
Yeah, she's a little bit smutty.
Oh, okay, cool. Like I said, the spicier the better. um, okay, so what was a movie that you watched that you'll never watch again?
Okay,
I know there's so many, but
there really is, but the award is movie I'll never watch again, but it was good.
oh,
It was
okay, yeah.
great. It was amazing. But I ain't never sitting down and watching it again. I remember last year it was Enola Holmes, the first one, that won this award from me. And this year, I'm gonna say this is even better. Acting was phenomenal. I've already given awards for the actor. But I'm never gonna sit down and watch this movie ever again. But it was absolutely phenomenal, and that is Elvis. Elvis was phenomenal. Every award that it gets, it deserves. If it does not get all the awards, then it has been robbed because yes, it was just so good. The acting was amazing. Austin Butler, Tom Hanks as well, in there doing his job, making me hate his character with a passion. But yeah, so I will say Elvis. What about you?
I can agree. And look, I even own the movie, but it would probably be. It's not something that I think I would just. It's not a movie that I say, "Hey, I want to watch a movie." Like I would watch the Batman again, and the Batman is really long, 3.5 hours, right?
Yes.
Um, so I would watch the Batman again before I just sat and watched Elvis. And I think maybe it has to do with the way I picked it apart. And it is a great movie, but a lot of the historical inaccuracies for me, maybe I don't know, but Austin, for what it is, for what it presented, it really is a good movie. It's just not something that I necessarily have to watch again, unless someone. Um, but yeah, it wouldn't be on the top of my hey, let's just sit down and watch Elvis list. But so I can agree with that. Okay. Um, best K-pop artist. Oh, I'm interested to see who made your list. Artist or group?
So artist or group. So I'm gonna separate just because we do have also a category called Idol of the Year. Which if you notice I changed the name of it. But so I will say I have two. So my first, I'm just gonna say best K-pop group of the year. The award goes to first GOT7. I sung their praises when we did our favorites episode. Once again, go and listen to it. And I will say again, it's just absolutely amazing. They said it from when they all seven decided not to sign. They had the promised that if one of them decided not to sign back with their entertainment company, then none of them was going to re-sign with the entertainment company, and they actually stuck to that. And so none of them re-signed, even though half of them actually wanted to. And they all went their separate ways, and they said they did not break up. They were going to have a comeback. They were going to come back and give us what we needed as fans. And May of this year, they did that, and absolutely phenomenal. Their album was amazing. The performances, the concert that they gave, they put it online. It was in Korea. It was just absolutely amazing. So I'm definitely going to give that award to GOT7. And then another group that made me this year with their latest album that they put out, they made me go back and listen to music from years ago, in their earlier years. And that's kind of tough to do. Even if I really enjoy you as an artist, it's kind of tough to make me want to go back and listen to your earlier music. GOT7 was one of those. BTS was another one. And now 17 has definitely joined that. 17 made me go back and listen to their earlier music, which is actually really good. And so I'd have to choose them also as one of the best K-pop groups of 2022 for me. What about you, Eddie?
I'm going with GOT7. I agree with you on that. And this, like I said, this was kind of like a slow year. Um, but GOT7, for me, like I said, Boy Cold, he was amazing. I had heard of him. I knew who he was, but with his latest album, Daft Love, he just kind of took it to a whole new level for me. Really surprised me. It was one of the albums that I had on repeat. And one of the ones, you kind of said it, the anthology album for BTS. Even though BTS didn't do a lot this year, um, as much as they would, and we know the reasons why. But I think for this to be a year that they were that they were transitioning or making that transition, I think that um, their anthology album kind of made me go back and listen and appreciate some things, some songs that I may have not liked in the beginning. Because I know I was one of those who's like, well, I'm not gonna. I really wasn't a fan of their earlier stuff, but the more I listen to it, like just take time to sit and listen to it, the more I like it and the more I appreciate it. So that's what Proof kind of did for me, and I love the 4 songs that they put out with that. So um, even though it was a quiet year for them, I think they quietly kind of they're making that transition. So they ranked up there, they made that list, as well as others, but those are probably my top 3 for right now. Um, and PH1, of course, I loved PH1. PH1's album, I haven't propped him up enough. I finally got a PH1 album. I love him so, and Zico. So there are quite a few individual artists. JB has been working his ass off this year individually. He's on tour now. Released his own solo. Released 2 solos. One is Def. One is JB. Both of them were really good. So yeah, but that's it. You have an individual artist, or did you want to save that for Idol?
Um,
Which is next.
Okay, so my idol of the year is going to be different from I'll do an artist. He definitely couldn't surpass 17 or GOT7 for me, but I definitely took notice of him this year. I listened to his album. I love his sound. I love his style. Just really, really good. Also, he's one of the BFFs of JB. And that's gonna be Junie.
Junie. Yeah.
Junie would definitely be one of the best K-pop artists of 2022 for me. He puts out more singles, and then he came out with his full album, which I love. It's just I just love he has a very R&B sound to him, just like JB does. That's JB's like sound. He's more like R&B, kind of like slow. And Junie is the same way. I can listen to every song that Junie comes out with, and I love it all. There's not a song that I can't say I don't listen to on repeat or I don't like. So I will say Junie can definitely get some recognition under that category.
Yeah. Idol of the year, I don't know. I have my favorites, but I can agree with you. I'll just co-sign on Junie. I hadn't really given it much thought as far as like individual idol, but yeah, I can.
Oh no,
I'll go.
he's the best K-pop artist, not my idol of the year.
Oh gosh. Well, I don't know. He'll go with my idol of the year because if not, then I'm gonna default to V and just be like V.
Yo, but I thought you were gonna say like RM or J Hope, because I do think that as idols, they've just had a phenomenal comeback. Overall, both of them. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I can go with that too. Like you see, I'm giving it so much thought. And I did, but I just couldn't come up with one. So I did default to V. But now that you bring my attention, yeah, we can go with that. Cool. Exactly for the reasons you said. I'm good with that. Who's your idol of the year?
My idol of the year is going to be the person that I've chosen for my artist of the year, and that's going to be Zico. I will say it once again, just absolutely phenomenal hip hop artist. And when I say hip hop artist, I don't mean K hip hop artist. I just mean hip hop artist, period. He just deserves more recognition within the Western arena, and I would wish, since he's under the Hybe sphere, but he has his own label, Cause music, that he would try to like more promote himself in the Western market, because I think he can do a phenomenal job over here as well.
Yeah, I think so too. And he could, get some more features with some of the Hybe artists um, on the American side, Ariana Grande, Bieber, whoever. But um, yeah, I agree with you. I think he is phenomenal, and he needs more pub um, to kind of break that glass ceiling or something to just kind of break out because he really does have the talent, I think so, to be a crossover star. Okay, most hated character, but I hate you. I hate you so much. Who is your most hated character?
All right. It's a character, but not a character. And the person that won this award, the most hated character of 2022, is going to be Kanye West. I hate that man. I hate what he represents. I hate that he's a Black man representing that. I hate that people are still making excuses for him. I hate that there are still groups of people in the community that are still supporting him, that are making excuses for him. And then I have another one. This is a recent addition. And my recent addition is going to be Tory Lanez. Because to hear people, even after the verdict, finding him guilty for shooting Megan in the foot, and you still got people making excuses for him and saying that this is an innocent man, he's being taken down, he ain't shoot nobody, and then you just lapping it up like you didn't do wrong, and just making it seem like we don't know how to once again protect our Black women from abuse and from assault. So Kanye West and Tory Lanez is winning most hated character of 2022 awards. I know they're not actual characters on TV, but yeah, I just could not let it go without them getting this award.
We can call Ye as a character.
Oh,
He's a
there you go.
caricature of himself, of who he used to be, his former self. Not that I've ever held Kanye to this perfection standard. He's always been a little problematic. Let's not lie and pretend like he wasn't. But he stood for something. I still remember the Kanye that got up in front of all those people when George Bush left a stadium full of people to just sit there during Katrina, and it took the government so many days to step in, and he just said he don't like Black folks. Um, I remember the Kanye that stood for something that was about us, or at least about the community or the culture. And I don't know if that was performative. Now you have to ask yourself, was that shit performative so he could get on? Like, where has the change been? Where did the change come in? So I agree with you. Um, and the same thing you said about Tory Lanez. Um, Two things can be true. Kanye can be mentally ill and still be an asshole. He can be mentally ill and still be a racist, a misogynist, all of that. So one does not discount the other. I'm sick of tired people saying, but his mental illness. Yes, but that doesn't excuse what he is today. Um, Tory Lanez, I agree. I'm sick of people caping for him. One person had the nerve to actually compare him to fucking Emmett Till. Are you serious? Are you like dead ass? And they doubled down on that shit.
He's fucking Canadian. Send him back.
And so, and I'm like, and we've talked about before, it's like they want us to cape so hard for them, but they're never there for us. And to see the way, whether you're a fan or not, to see the way as a woman Megan Thee Stallion was treated, how they tried to bring her sexual history, her body, what the fuck, who she's fucking, what does that have to do with this fool fucking shooting her in the foot?
And they kept saying, but she lied. She lied about sleeping with him. That was the one thing she lied about, was sleeping with him on national TV, which we can if you're a woman and you don't understand why she went to that level of lying about that, I don't know what to tell you. But
have you seen that roach looking
for? Yeah, I mean, come on.
And then they were talking about, well, when the police asked her, she didn't say, well, you have to go back and remember, it was the height of the summer of 2020. Do y'all not remember the political climate and everything that happened in the summer of 2020? That was like the summer of 68 all over again. And, I only know about the summer of 68 from the history books and what, my relatives who were alive during that time told me. But just witnessing all the protests and everything going on, not just here, but all throughout the world, I could understand her having that need at that moment to protect him. But it's like, everything else, I'm like, y'all, really? Really? So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Okay, so best on-screen duo. Who is your best on-screen duo?
Okay, on a lighter note, my best on-screen duo is going to be Shi-eun and Soho. And they're from Weak Hero Class 1, because even though it's a very serious matter that they're dealing with, they just had so many cute moments on developing their friendship on the show that was so natural throughout the show that I decided to make them my best on-screen duo. So Weak Hero Class 1, the two main male leads, just how their friendship developed and just how funny it was on how hard they tried not to be friends and ended up being best friends anyway, was really, really cute. What about you?
I don't know if I had a favorite on-screen duo. I think
I have another one, but sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead.
I do have so I have another one. And it's the duo, well, not a duo because it's four of them from the beach house on All American. I loved that Spencer and the crew, all the boys, ended up living in oh my gosh, what's his name?
JJ?
JK. No, what?
JJ?
It's not JK.
JJ.
JJ. I thought you said JK. I said it's not JK. This ain't BTS.
No, JJ.
JJ. They all ended up living in JJ's beach house, which I understood that JJ was actually really that he came from a rich family because he did go to Beverly Hills High. But I didn't understand how rich he was. Because he kind of plays off like a little bit of a stupid jock. And he's really not. And I just love that. But I just love the dynamic of Asher and him and Jordan and Spencer just all being in that house, going from the summer and then deciding to continue to live there through their first year of college, even though they were going to different schools. So I have to say, it's not a duo, but what do you call a four people? Quartet?
Yeah, sure.
A quartet. I love the quartet on All American as well. They were really great.
Yeah, I was gonna pick Spencer since it was duo. I was gonna pick Spencer and Jordan, but yeah, I can go with the quartet too. Yeah. Okay, cool. So who do we have for best? What is your best what the fuck moment?
Okay, it's not necessarily that it's surprising, but what surprised me is how long it took to come out, how long it took for it to come out, and that it was kind of like a side story on how it came out, and then it became a bigger thing. And that was Jerry Jones is a segregationist. Not saying that I am surprised. I'm not saying that I'm surprised about it, but just how long it was before, that photo came out showing us, evidence of him being there at the protest against in Arkansas against the Little Rock, that protest for them to attend the high school. And so that was just like, what the fuck? Like, only now? Like, how old is this dude? Like, we couldn't find this earlier? Like, but yeah, so that would be my best WTF moment. What about you, Eddie?
I have so many, but I think one of my biggest what the fuck moments, like truly what the fuck, is that motherfucker sitting there, Domingo Mussolini, sitting on troves of classified documents. And I'm not talking about shit. I'm not talking about shit that's like classified because, it just came from I'm talking about shit that you need top security. I'm talking about the shit that I can tell you, but I have to.
They got stamps on it. They got stamps on them.
Like the shit that is so classified that only the top of the top know. Like it's way above your pay grade. Like when someone says you want to see,
he packed that shit up like it was spare printer paper.
Thank you. Like when someone says, if you were in the intelligence agency, someone says you want to see classified. Wait a minute, how classified? Like, am I gonna die if I know this shit? Like, there's some shit you don't even want to know. I'm talking about that type of classified. He's just sitting on it, like, got it hanging out in Mar-a-Lago like it's yesterday's funnies and shit. And I'm like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me this motherfucker is sitting on nuclear secrets? Like, top secret classified shit. And like you said before, it didn't necessarily surprise me that he taken some shit that he shouldn't have taken, but just the audacity and the amount of shit,
the caucasity of it all.
Yes, and what he took, and then that fool gonna have to say, "I want my papers back." Really? Like, and then on top of that, his ass is still free. Because if it's my black ass, your black ass, or let me even put it like this, Barack's black ass be up under the jail. Like, for real. So that's my big what the fuck. Not that he's shady as fuck, but just like you said, the caucasity of it all. And then I'm like, but dude, really? Like, hey, you want to come see my top secret documents that aren't stored? Like, yeah, that did it for me. It was that for me. Yeah.
I have another one. Okay. Real quick. Another what the fuck moment was the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade.
I think that's the ultimate.
Like, yes. What the actual fuck?
Yes.
Of them doing it and then celebrating lying to the public. And
then trying to gaslight us like we shouldn't be mad about it. Like we knew it was coming. Like, no, you motherfucking lied. Y'all all said under oath. No, it's it's law. It's it's there.
It's precedent.
Yeah,
We
we're
ain't
not gonna.
touching it. And then you fucking touched it. So yeah, so that would be another W2. I'm gonna throw out the Jerry Jones thing. That is gonna be my WTF moment of 2022. Is the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade and then acting like we shouldn't be surprised and we shouldn't be fucking pissed off about them doing that. Just want to put
Yeah,
that out there.
and then all the other bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't care, but I should.
Okay. The I don't care but I should award is going to go to the Twitter drama. I got two. So first is going to be the Twitter drama. I don't care, but I do feel I should. I really should, because I will say, out of all the social media outlets out there, I use Twitter more than any of the others. I use Twitter to keep up on what's going on around the world, what the thoughts are, what people are really thinking about, the decisions that are being made, not only in our government, in our country, but in other countries around the world, what's trending and everything like that. What are the concerns of the world? And I just didn't care. Like, I really didn't. And the crazy thing is, when Elon Musk actually purchased Twitter, I stopped going on it. Like, I just stopped. I was just like, because when you were telling me all the bullshit, I was just like, fuck this. Like, I'm just gonna, just give myself a pause on Twitter. So, and then the next one is, it's a little heartless. It's a little heartless. But I gotta say it. I'm just gonna put it out there. Yes, it's gonna be me being a little shit person, right quick. The Queen dying. I don't care, but I should. I should. But I think just the cover up of what her history is, and not fully speaking the truth, the good and the bad of what she represented, not only in England, but also around the world, just went into me just not caring as much as I feel I should care, because of those kinds of politics I'm really interested in. But yeah, I just didn't, I could fucking care less. I think I was more affected by how her grandkids and her family were affected, more than I was at the fact that she actually died. Put that
I, I'm gonna agree with you on that. And I think we talked about during her death. I think the thing that's always humanized her for me was Harry. And like I said, I've always been a big Harry fan, more so than William. And especially since he's been more public about it, just from the standpoint that she was a human being, she was flawed, just like we all are. The monarchy is the monarchy, the institution is the institution. Very controversial. Um, I cared more for the from the standpoint of that she was someone's mother, grandmother, and she was beloved by her family. And so, I admired how long she was in power. For any woman, that is a long time. Did not agree with the way she wielded a lot of that power. Did not agree with the way she put duty before family, um, a lot of times, and it was to the detriment of her family. Um, especially when it's a family business, and um so like you said, in some cases, from the aspect of it being the monarch, no, not so much, but from the aspect of it, her being a person who meant so much to those who loved her, then yeah, I felt for that, for them. I felt bad about laughing at some of that shit on Irish Twitter too. And Black Twitter, because ooh, girl, they was twins that day. But I think
Mm-hmm.
Irish Twitter was the oldest twin. Um. Okay, I care. Why don't you?
We talked about this. I said that it was gonna show up on the awards. when we did this episode, and I think I care so much. Why don't you? And by you, I mean just the general public. Why don't we care enough to actually really step up and do something as a collective? And that's the erosion of the education system, as well as the lack of motivation and the laziness of this current generation um, in the school system. Um, we don't care enough to push them. And we're not preparing them for the real world. The real world doesn't fucking care about what you go through. And that's just the honest truth. And instead of building our children to be more strong-minded and being able to fall down and pick themselves back up and know what to do next and figuring shit out and solutions on their own or with the help and advice of the adults around them, you have a lot. I think nowadays adults are now picking them up, carrying them over the small puddle, and then coming to fight their battles and not pushing them when they are failing, but rather rewarding them for their failures. And that just goes into the detriment of the education system and the kids that are now being educated. It's very serious. I know. It's a very, very serious thing. But I just had to put that out there because it's so sad to see it happening in real time. So so that would be my I care, why don't you award.
I agree. I agree with that. And I have another one. The education system and just about our political landscape in general right now. Everything from the Mango Mussolini, January 6th. I know it's a lot, but if we don't pay attention um, to the things that really matter, we are going to find ourselves in a situation that we don't want to be in. You think the Mango Mussolini is dangerous? No, his heir apparent, the one that homeboy, that piece of shit in Florida. Oh, he's even more fucking dangerous
Because he's actually
because
smart.
he's actually smart. He actually knows how to play the game. And so it's just like, people, like you said, we're not paying attention. We're raising a bunch of people to not pay attention, to not fight for the democracy, to not get out there and vote. There's no way this fucker here in Texas should have won another election. And again, we just went through a cold snap, and the weather is becoming more extreme. In the winter, yeah, it's going to be hotter, but when it gets cold, it's going to be colder like this, where it affects whole pockets of the country for longer periods of time. And there's no way in 2022 that we should be dealing with the things that we're dealing with. And you have um, a person in charge where 100,000 people, nearly damn near 100,000 people in your state are without power for days. And your response to that is to ship people, human beings, to even colder weather and drop them off on Christmas Eve. So that type of shit. It's like, I think we forgot who came here, who built this country. This country was stolen, but built by immigrants. Okay. Um, and the poor, the worst parts, the dregs of societies from their original countries, you know. So it's like, don't get me started on a history lesson, but um, so I think it all goes back hand in hand. What are we teaching our kids in the education system? But what are we consuming? What are we learning as adults? We're not learning the lessons that we need to learn. We're ignoring the things that we need to be paying attention to. And we're letting all the crap in and ignoring the real stuff. And even though I still believe I'm an optimist, I still believe the good in this world outweighs the bad. You see so much of us losing our humanity, um, and finding shit funny that's not funny. So, yeah, I care about those things, and it pisses me off that not many others seem to either. And I know that we're out there. I know, but just as a whole, what we tend to focus on as a society is not what we need to be focused on sometimes. So yeah, that's why I care. That's what I care about. Okay, so what about your best couple? Who's your best couple of the year?
Okay, same theme. So, um, I'll do my K drama one, and then I'll do my other one. So for K drama, I think it made one of my top 10 favorite dramas of 2021. It premiered in 2021 and finished up in 2022. That's why I'm including them, because it was just absolutely phenomenal. I've watched it multiple times. This is The Couple from the Red Sleeve. And it's a historical drama. One of the last reigning monarchs of Korea, before they became a democracy, and it was just really, really good. It's the king who falls in love with a court lady, and she goes decades on turning him down and becoming his concubine. And he asked her multiple times, and she kept saying no. And because he loved her so much, he let her say no rather than forcing her into the position of being his concubine, which he could have done, which was in his right. And just the real life love story of them, because it really happened in real life. It was a real life love story. It's from the Red Sleeve, and it's Yi-san and Dokim. And I just really loved it. The actor and actress had amazing chemistry. But it was just really nice to see how much more in love he was with her than she was with him. And it took her years to even acknowledge her feelings for him. And he stuck with it. He got married. He had other kids. And even through that, like, everybody knew that his one true love was her. And he stuck by her until she finally caved and decided to become his concubine. And it was the only reason she kept saying no is because she didn't want to give up her life that she had. She had way more freedom as a court lady than she could ever have as his concubine. And it was just a really, really good story. It gets me. I've watched it multiple times. And then my other best couple of 2022 is going to be from Bridgerton. And it's going to be Anthony and Kate. And I know everybody fell in love with Daphne and the Duke of Hastings, and it was so steamy and sexy, and he's such a good looking guy. But I think the realism, I think it was even more real on Anthony and Kate, which made me love them more. And I think I said that in the episode when we reviewed season 2 of Bridgerton, that I love them as a couple even more than I loved Daphne and the Duke of Hastings as a couple. It wasn't rushed. It was, slow coming on them, acknowledging their feelings, getting together, and just how the story came together. It was one of my favorite books that I read from Julia Quinn as well. So just want to put that out there. What about you, Eddie?
I'm going real life, and I think I shouted out this couple. I'm going with J Lo and Batfleck. I just love their love story. Like I said, it's a throwback to Hepburn and Tracy, who never got married for different, for reasons, but they were the love of each other's lives, and they were together. Um, and or Richard Burton and
Burton.
Elizabeth Taylor, who were married several times. They just couldn't make it stick, but they were the love of each other's lives, and just kind of gives me that throwback to old Hollywood when romance was, this thing. So I love their love story. So I went with them as my real life
Love
couple of
wins.
20. Yeah, my real life couple of 2022. And I stick by the fact, do not remake Geely, whatever that movie was called. Ben, just write another movie for y'all, okay?
Please do. Please do.
So who gets your ultimate popcorn award?
All right. So I had to really, really think of who was going to get this award. Ultimate Popcorn just means that they won the year. Who won the year of 2022? And I kind of jumbled them together. And I'm going to say the Megans won the year of 2022. And by the Megans, no, I don't mean Megan McCain. She can go jump off a bridge. I mean Megan Thee Stallion, for finally getting vindication on what she's been saying since 2020, that Tory Lanez shot her in the foot, the trauma that she went through, that she's still going through mentally and emotionally, being vilified and dragged through the mud, and still sticking to it, in order to finally get the vindication that she needs. I'm just gonna say she won the year 2022. And then the other Megan, that I'm going to be cheering, I'm going to give her the award, but I'm going to give like a little mini award to her husband, and that's going to be Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, as well as Harry, the Duke of Sussex. And I will say, because she's been saying it for years, and she's really been outspoken about all that she went through, when her and Harry fell in love. But I think seeing the documentary, not everybody took it the same way I did. But when I watched that documentary and you heard it from Harry's mouth, and you really got to see the experience from his side and what he felt, and without people putting stuff into his mouth. And then also just Meghan being able to continue to tell her story, and also winning her court case of vindication against, I believe it's the Mail or the Daily Mail, I believe it's called, that tabloid in Britain. So I will say the Megans, Meghan the Stallion and Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, won the year of 2022. I think they've had a very successful year, ultimately ending the year on a really, really good note, just in my opinion. What about you, Eddie?
I agree. The Megans, they, the vindication, for Megan the Stallion, the trauma she went through, the trauma she still goes through. I'll say it again: protect Black women. As a Black woman myself, and protect women, but especially Black women. Same thing for Meghan Markle. Just all that she's gone through. And the part that really kind of got me, during that documentary, is when her mom was talking about how she regretted not ever having to talk with her. And the talk I'm talking about, the talk.
Mm-hmm.
And just because it was never it she never deemed it as an issue. It was one of those things where, well, because of who her friends were, just because of the life that she lived, she never she how where she was raised, even though it was in the poorer parts of LA, it just never seemed to come up until now. It's like, okay, you always had this awareness, like you knew, but you never really just had been forced with living your life like that. That was one of the things I took away from that, and I'm like, okay. uh, but I you know and I always think about, damn, imagine what we don't know, imagine what they
Mm-hmm.
haven't said, because there's still so much, like what we know, what they've said only scratches the surface of all the bullshit that they went through.
And it was deep what they said.
And it was deep what they said. It was a lot, but what they chose to focus on was more so about the media and the mistreatment from the media, and they touched on how the institution didn't protect them. They never really got into the bullshit that they faced from within the institution itself. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah.
And
Like
so
he kind of made some comments here and there, but to fully talk about all the shit that they went through behind the scenes, no.
no. And so I was like, okay. But I agree. So I applaud them. I think it took a lot of courage for both women to step out, to stand out. I think it took a lot of courage for Harry to see the signs and not want history to repeat itself. Because if I agree with him, and people are like, oh, you're being hyperbolic or dramatic, but if they would have stayed, she probably would have died. And that's a horrible thing to say, you know. But yeah, so I applaud. I agree with you on the mini award. I also want to give one. My other one goes to someone with the Ultimate Popcorn Award, who's had a hell of a year. Um, who has overcome and who has survived a lot more than any of us will probably even know, on a bigger scale, and that's BG or Brittany Griner. Um, I think, um, I can't wait for the Oprah interview, or whenever she finally decides to talk. I will be listening, because, um, for her to seemingly come out of that, um, they say with her spirit still intact. I can't imagine. So, I just want to say, I'm glad that she's home, and I hope that we continue to bring, that we're able to get Paul Whelan and others, who are held in other countries, in Iran, Iran home as well. So yeah, but so my three ultimate popcorn awards go to three incredibly strong Black women: Brittany Griner, Meghan Markle, and Megan Thee Stallion. All right. So what about you? Who's your wine glass overflow?
So, wine glass overflow is for the person that, just made me pour myself a large glass of wine and shed some tears. And it's going to be an individual who left us on New Year's Eve, and huge loss, just beloved all around. And that's going to be Betty White. Betty White passed away on December 31st, 2021, a couple days before her 100th birthday. She was 99, and yeah, like, she was just so beloved. And even now, like, I'm just feeling the emotions on just what an amazing woman she was all around. Just looking back in her past, and she was who she was, who she showed herself to be. And if you needed proof of that, just look back at some of the decisions she made um, in her earlier years, in her 20s, in her 30s, in her 40s, on just what an amazing human being she was. And it's just so sad that she's no longer in the world, that we're not going to see her show up as the beloved grandma in some, romantic comedy and making us laugh over her silliness ever again. So yeah, so I would say Wine Glass Overflowed Award is going to go to Betty White, who is definitely missed.
I can agree with that. I actually left mine blank, because I couldn't figure out one. Um, and I was just like, it's been so much. And, I think that this one was harder for me than in previous years. And, I'm sure we'll get into that more, and the shit that got us through. But, I will agree with that. Betty White, cheers to you. She is still beloved and still very missed. And, I would love, we've had the movie, we've had the specials, we've had the TV shows about Lucille Ball, and what a pioneer she was. But I would love to see one about Betty White. She was also one of those strong women who I don't think we realize just how much she championed, for different causes, especially for minorities, um, in her earlier and all throughout her career, and just how pioneering she was as well. So I would love for her to get that full biopic or bio series, treatment, like Lucille Ball has, or had. I think that would be awesome, to see. All right. I think that does it. Is there any other awards you can think of, or anybody else you want to shout out on this wonderful, wonderful episode of the uh, the 2022 Golden
Cool.
Goblet?
No, I think we really I feel I talked myself out with all the awards and just explaining why the shows and the actors, actresses, artists, musicians, and people all got the awards that they did. And so no, I think we did good. I think we did good.
All right. Well, I can't agree with you more. Like I said, for this to be a slower year, music wise, and in the entertainment industry, um, when you look back on it, there was a lot more things that I enjoyed, but it was also harder for me to find some of those things. But I had to look really deep for some of them. But yeah, I think we did good too. So that does it for this latest episode of the 2022 Golden Goblets. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had your popcorn, your wine. Don't say I didn't warn you. Um, and be sure to join us next time when we wrap up our year with the shit that got us through 2022. In all honesty, that will probably be one of the first episodes that comes out in 2023, but that's the way it always works. So, anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this and be sure to listen, like, and follow, comment, subscribe, whatever, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Yeah, because we got it like that now, y'all. We international like that. And like I said, be sure to tune into the next episode, which will be the shit that got us through 2022. More deja vu. I don't know. I just made that up off on the fly. And also be sure to check us out for more detailed lists of the things that we mentioned on the popcornwinedown.com. That's it. That's the plug.
Pop, 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 pop,
Pop,
pop.
pop, pop. And until next time, maybe in 2023. She asked me about my goals earlier. So one of my goals is to get my popcorn sound effect finally. Maybe.
So you're gonna do it yourself then?
No. Okay. So until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.